Well, back to Vegas Live with Nina, and of course I have a reoccurring guest, and I have a lot of reoccurring guests because they always have so many lovely different stories coming on. Lance Pavine is absolutely amazing, and I've known him, I've known you, Lance, in little different places of moving and changing your thought of life.
Of course.
Because your thought of life, it's funny, most people don't like to change. Lance, you don't mind changing because you see something ahead. Originally I met you on the health cannabis oil and all that stuff.
Cannabis scene.
Yes, and the reason you started all about the cannabis at that particular time was because of your wife was very ill with cancer.
That's correct.
And so I think if we correct the story that he didn't just go into cannabis, there was a reason for it.
Absolutely.
And the reasoning, if I remember rightly, was when she came out of hospital, she had breast cancer that went to her brain, and she was not very conscious and everything else, and you started researching.
Well, that's the funny thing. It was kind of just given to me. So I never could explain to people why I understood it. As time went on, and people go, how do you know the ins and outs of the endocannabinoids, like it's advancement? Because I didn't study it. Well, I know about that. I don't care about cannabis. And then I would tell people, I go, God showed me.
Yes.
And so it was hard, but as time went on, they liked that part. They liked understanding all this stuff. But when time went on and that revelation was given to me, it's like, nope. You're going to give me 100% of your time.
Yes.
And so hence the ministry.
So now you have the ministry.
That's correct.
But back to the cannabis.
Yes.
The reason why he got the cannabis was because he wanted to cure his wife and help his wife, which you did. You started helping her.
Yes, it provided relief.
Giving her a relief, and she also became coherent.
Correct.
Unfortunately, she did pass away, but at least she had a few weeks, months, whatever it was.
We had more time, which I'm grateful to God to actually have that time. We look at stuff as extra time, not realizing that it was a purpose time. But
yes, it was
we see that and you go, thank you for that extra step. I mean, when someone nears the end, or what we think is the end, to get an extra week where you can look back and go, it could have been so sudden, and I'm glad for that extra time. There's never enough time.
There's never
But it's nice to have that extra
time, which you appreciate. Obviously, you were in love with her very, very much. And then, and I've known you through this, and I had actually recommended a couple of people to you. And now you've gone from that, because you always talked about God, and you always talked, yes, this is a religious show. Second one.
Look at this.
We're getting very religious here.
Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name.
We're all good. Here we are. Anyway, and then you decided to go, because you had so many messages from God regarding this cannabis, you kind of switched over, and now you're a minister.
Yeah. It was a definitive message to switch. It wasn't, because people always ask, why did you do this? It's like, I didn't just get up one day and goes, I'm going to just stop making money.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, you're going to give me 100% of your time. And so it allows me to reach more people, as many people as we reached in medical consulting. We're reaching a lot more now. And as I talk to people, I go, there's a lot of people that are sick.
Yes.
And certain things provide relief. And if there's something that can provide healing, why would you take a Band-Aid over the surgery? And that's what people are doing. They're taking the Band-Aid, saying, well, I feel better, but you're not better.
No.
And that's the bigger thing.
So you're trying to get within their body, within themselves, to find out, to get them to where they need to be to feel better. Because if you're not correct within your body, how can you function correctly out there?
Correct. If your spirit's dying, the external stuff, who cares? It's like an ongoing thing. There's plenty of people that have passed away that looked healthy. Then you find it internally they were rotting. And so that's a huge thing. You know, looks can be very deceiving. So the whole thing is that when you start to see a shift and a change in someone's spirit where there's actually hope. And I think the time that when there's a lot of hopelessness. So to give people hope and truth, that changes.
And so, and you've managed to do that in your way. And how is it going? How's it sort of? How are you feeling within?
I'd say it's expanding. I mean, you know, considering it was only a few months that we started the ministry, now we're reaching on a national level, international level, many people. This Friday we're going to speak at a prison, and people are always surprised at that. You know, your last guest, people judge people, and they go, well, how can that person be saved? Not understanding at once we were all sinners. We're all in the same thing.
We're all the same. We're all the same. And I always say, in fact, having this conversation yesterday with 2 African American guys, and we got onto this sort of this problem we seem to have in America. And I said, you know something, none of us actually say, Mom, I want to come out this color, or I want to come out like this. You can't. You come out how you are.
Correct.
And you have to deal with it. I mean, you can be whatever it is, you've got to deal with it. I mean, I want to be tall, I want to be this, I want to be that. But no, you can't, because you are what you are.
We're this way for a reason. God doesn't make mistakes. And what happens is the world teaches you be something else, when it's like, no, you're supposed to be you. You're here for a purpose.
Yes.
People are reaching for something, they don't quite know what it is, and that's the problem. When you become content and happy and know that
Within
I'm here
yourself.
for a purpose.
Yes, I'm here for a reason.
It starts to change things.
Yes.
And your effect on people will change them.
Yes.
That's why when people judge another person, we can't fix another person's problem. We have to understand what's going on ourselves. Then we can help someone else.
Yeah, well, once we get sorted out, once we know who we are, what we can do, then we can help somebody else.
Correct.
Which is me. Now, I love you going to the prisons because I had a show called Voices of Tomorrow, and I was able to take my camera into juvenile hall, and I did 5 shows in juvenile hall. These are all kids under 18 years old in prison. And that's pretty sad. So I opened up a whole arena for them so they realized that different things they could do. Now you're going in through the vets into prison.
We're going with the veteran organization. They invited us to come in there. And a lot of people in prison are getting saved. And a lot of people are like, well, why would they be in prison? God's plan is precise. And we don't always understand why people are in certain places. So people, some of them are in prison, and they go, this is where I needed to be to hear the word of God.
Yes.
And then they hear it. Until all of your plans and your contingency plans break apart, you're not going to turn to God.
No.
If you think you have the answer, you're going to be like, I'm doing this fine until it all breaks apart. That's what happened to me. I had to lose my wife. I had to lose my mind to get to that point and say, I give up.
So you accept that now? You are
absolutely.
You're kind of relieved, actually.
It was the only way I was going to wake up. And people, they look at something and that's tough. And I go, we learn through tribulation and correction.
Yes.
We don't learn if you're having fun. If you're having fun, you're like, I want to stop. No. When you stop having fun and something happens and you go, what is this? And your whole world gets shaken up, and then you start to kind of reevaluate your premise and your purpose.
Yeah, because whatever happens and whatever goes on in your life is through you, nobody else. It's all through how you think, what you do, how you do it, what you say, your reactions. Everything is completely within. And isn't it true that your thought is like a split second before it comes out?
Well, I mean, there have been things where your body metaphysically can pick up stuff before you see it.
Before you see it, yes.
And they've done stuff with this, and even your heart. They actually found your heart can realize what's happening, not your brain. And your heart feeds your brain, feeds your body. And I find that great when people tell me all about science and medicine, and it keeps on disproving, because once we claim we know something, God reveals something else, shows how little we know.
Yes. So what is going on with this world of so many people? And I seem to see different parts of the world sort of coming into, like America has always been the open borders, but at the same time you now got the whole world is like open for everybody, is like floating around.
Yep.
I always think this is God's purpose, and this is what He's doing. He's saying, okay, so we've got all these here and all these here and all these here, blah blah. Now we're going to mix them all up. Let's see what happens if we mix them all up. Well, it's not going very well, is it?
Well, I mean, yeah, you have little things with prophecy. Prophecy, I always think it's fortune telling. No, it's not. Prophecy is what God's going to do, not what I think He's going to do.
No.
He told us very clearly of what's happening. And so when you look at things in the world, even people who, wherever they're at spiritually, they know in their spirit something's wrong.
Yes.
They can't necessarily put it in the words, but they're looking out there and they go, there's a darkness that they're starting to see.
Yes.
It's hidden for a while. And then all of a sudden it's starting to surface.
Yes.
And when you can recognize it, you go, something's not right here.
So do we have a lot of darkness going on? It seems that way.
Of course. But we're light and darkness. Jesus told us exactly where we are.
Yeah, light and dark, of course.
And so when you can see it, the only way to recognize that is to help get your walk right. Then you can say, let me help you. We don't have enemies. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself, because when you love everyone, you don't have enemies.
No.
That's the thing that people, right? If you love everyone, how can you have an enemy?
You can't. I mean, see, my feeling is that if I don't get on with somebody, that's not a bad person. I just don't get on with them. And they probably don't get on with me either. That doesn't make me bad. We're just all human beings that sometimes you get better on this one than that one, but that doesn't make them bad.
If you like pizza and I like spaghetti, who cares? That doesn't mean that
Why do you have
pizza's
menus?
not good.
Why do you have menus? Why do you have
There's different
food?
things. The key thing is that people want to be right. And when you want to be right, that's pride. When you don't have to be right, there's no pride. You're like, okay.
See, I don't care if I'm right or wrong. It doesn't matter as long as I'm right all the time.
I'm wrong all the time, so there you go.
Where are you, your Joe? You have a show every week. You do a show.
We do.
Where do we see that?
That's online, Hoping the Truth. It's on Facebook, YouTube. We're on the ministry channel, hopingthetruth.org. That's our ministry site, so people can always access those shows. Okay. One of these days you're going to come on. We're going to get your testimony.
We're going
to get your testimony. That's going to happen.
I'll come on, believe me. I will.
But it's good.
I know what I'll talk about because I where I am. So where do you see yourself going now? Now you've sort of reached this point. You've got quite there. Where are you going?
I just get led by the Spirit. I take each
Isn't
day.
that lovely?
Right? We have
Isn't that
today.
Wonderful?
I don't worry about a lot of times people look to the future and they're worrying, but that's your imagination. all these things that come into your mind, like, what am I going to do now? That's not real.
No.
And we're so focused there, we're not living in the present.
Yes.
So when you live each day, it changes your reality.
Yes.
You're thankful for that.
So
day.
live in the present.
Live in the present.
Enjoy what's going on around you. You know, we get very angry about things, and we tell a lot of stories, and we worry and everything, and it never comes to fruition.
Correct.
It's a total waste of time. Then why did I worry about that when it, you know?
When something doesn't work out the way we think it is, we get upset.
Yes.
It's because we believe the lie.
Well, yeah, we believe what
we think.
We believe what we wanted to believe.
Who said it was going to happen that way? Interesting.
Good message to the younger generation for you.
Stay close to Christ, right? The answers that you're seeking are in Him, and it helps you understand yourself and other people. That's the best message I can give people.
That's wonderful. Isn't He amazing? Absolutely. So He did change careers, changed everything, so you can change as well. Don't be afraid of life. Life is life. Enjoy
Absolutely.
it. We'll be back.